So I do a lot of pistol training. Why? So the reason I do a lot of pistol training, again, is because I'm older. I'm over 60. But this is very important to me because this will allow me to get to my primary weapon, okay? This will allow me to get to my rifle or my shotgun. Now, your rifle is your primary weapon, okay? But because I can't run as fast as I used to, I have to be efficient enough, hopefully, to be able to get to my trunk, to my rifle, or to my bag. So that's very, very important. So how you train, knowing your limitations are extremely important. One of the things I do want to stress, just because you have a box of rounds, you bought some ammunition, you bought a firearm, and you haven't shot it in 5 years. Shooting is a diminishing skill. It is something that if you don't work on a consistent basis, you start to lose some of your ability to do it as quickly and as fast as you want to do it. So don't take for granted that the fact that you got a gun or a firearm, number one, you've never cleaned it, you don't know how to clean it. Number two, you got a box of firearms. Don't think that that's going to make you an expert. If you've got 50 rounds and you haven't shot in a while, that ammo is going to run out quickly. And then what would be your next move? Listen, I encourage people to learn and understand what your 2A rights are. To know how to shoot a firearm is extremely important. And it can actually be a lot of fun. I find it very therapeutic. Anytime I have an opportunity to get out, that's what I do. Because being out here in God's land, me and bugs and just greenery is a fantastic thing for me. If you don't have a rifle, buy one. If you don't have a 12 gauge, buy one. If you don't have a pistol, buy one. Because we're actually living in peculiar times, and a lot of things can happen or will happen, and you need to be in a position to protect yourself, okay? Historically, I think it's very important because there was a time when particularly minorities weren't allowed to have guns. They could have a shotgun, but they could not have a rifle or a pistol, okay? Getting gun training and gun education is extremely important. I think that you can be as skilled and as strong as the effort that you put in, okay? I would tell you that since I picked up my first firearm, I know, with the exception of 5 days, maybe 10 days, that at some point in the day, I've picked up a firearm and I've held it in my hand. I'm not saying that you have to be that fanatic, but I am saying that if you went out and you bought a pistol and you put it in your purse and stuff start happening and you start thinking, hey, I'm ready. You ain't ready. Listen, the longer I've been in the gun game, the more I realize, boy, there's a lot of stuff to learn. A lot of stuff to learn. And you learn that by being around it, educating yourself. YouTube has been very, very big for me in terms of learning some of the things that I need to know. But I also have people that I'm around who are exceptional when it comes to training or fixing and repairing guns or firearms. And I think that has been very, very good for me as well. Another thing that I would like to address is oftentimes people will say, what's better for an older person? A wheel gun? A wheel gun is a revolver, and it's called a revolver because the wheel inside actually does rotate as you shoot, or a striker fire gun. Now, a revolver typically will hold 5 to 6 rounds, and you spin it and you put it in each slot. Some people can actually, some of the guys that I shoot with in competition, they actually have theirs set up to where it's hanging on their belt. They open up their wheel, they drop it in, and they're ready to go. But they still only have 5 rounds. Nothing wrong with that, particularly if you're efficient with it. However, getting the maximum amount out of whatever it is that you're doing is the most important thing. So, Smith & Wesson makes the EZ, which is a gun designed for older people, and it is, it helps you rack the slide a lot easier. But one of the things that I want to show you is, I think that psychologically, whenever we get a firearm, we want to pull it back like that. However, the easiest way I found, and you may want to give it a try, the most effective way is you're not pulling the slide, you're pushing the lower. You're pushing the lower. That makes it a lot easier for you. Now, it's different if you have your gun out in the action. What would you do then? Then you take your gun, push your lower, and let it go. Yep, you heard what you thought you heard. That was the old man grunt. I get the conversation a lot about why should I have a gun. Number one, people believe that having a gun is a problem. But here's what you need to consider. If everybody around you has a pistol or a firearm and you don't have a firearm, it really may be a problem, and that problem may be specifically for you. I think that I've become comfortable over the years with firearms. I can remember a time where the whole idea, it just made me uncomfortable. However, listen, if you go and play football and everybody on the team and everybody on the opposite team has a helmet, what do? Do you play? Or what's the risk of you being injured because you don't have a helmet? Sometimes you're not going to make the rules to the game. Sometimes it's your job to understand the rules to the game and be prepared to play the way everybody else around you is prepared to play.